right, my beauties and bees, welcome, welcome one and all to Beyond Science, a little corner of the Hive where we look into into extraordinary claims that exceed our scientific understandings. We do, as I say, or as I hold on just a second. There we go. We do a poll. This is our 666 poll. Every week, so you can come out here to the community page and vote. Vote. So that we know what you all want to see. And we're able to facilitate. So all this stuff is allegedly beyond our scientific understanding. So come out here and vote next time this shows up on the poll. That won't be on this next poll, though. For the poll for next week's going to be mind over matter. So what you can expect to see on that one is... let's see here. Man, I posted a lot this week, didn't I? So we did the summoning familiars, so then it's going to be psychometry, modern exorcism, and astral projection, and then we'll have another option on there as well that'll be a surprise. So keep your eye out for that. But this week, what won was the anti-gravity, which is Grevvikinov scarab anti-gravity technology. So we're going to dive into that. We have this channel, which is Universe Inside You, which makes they're like ancient aliens and forbidden history, that kind of stuff. Lost technology. Yeah. So there's more ufology. So you kind of get the grift. Get the drift. But no, the story of Viktor Grevvikinov is it's interesting. He was an interesting character. I don't know how much you all know about Cold War era Soviet Russia, but everybody had to have some kind of higher education. So there were scientists galore running around over there who were not really qualified to be called scientists. I'm not throwing this at Victor himself specifically or saying that he's not qualified or anything like that. Don't get it twisted. What I am saying is that there were a lot of people running around trying to do science in Soviet Russia that, because of the way that the system was set up, should never have been scientists, and it was a problem that they were doing science. That they were trying to do science. Of course, the first thing that comes in my head is like Cincoism, right? Where he was like, yeah, if we make our seeds cold tolerant, they'll grow in Siberia. It's like, what? No, honey, that's not how any of this works. The second season oh, yeah, I'm talking about a show. Hold on. Let's dive right in. I don't know how many of you all knew about this before I made it a topic. Anti-gravity technology.
For generations, humans have been on a quest to understand the mysteries of hyperdimensional physics and unlock the secrets of anti-gravity. Many scientists consider anti-gravitational technology to be the holy grail of the 21st century, a single technology that will
I gotta agree, anti-gravity technology would push us into the next stage of development. Think of how when we stopped, it would end our dependence on fossil fuels if we discovered anti-gravity technology. Because you would no longer need fossil fuels for transportation. You could just turn on the anti-gravity and give it a flick, and off it would go with no resistance. The only anti-gravity technology I know about is hoverboards from Back to the Future.
Completely change human civilization and bring about a new age on Earth and beyond. That such technology is possible is backed up by the countless UFO videos and sightings.
Is it? You think that bird proves anti-gravity?
About a new age on Earth and beyond. That such technology is possible is backed up by the countless UFO videos and sightings all around the world. Recently, even the United States Navy released mysterious footage of a UFO.
I'm pretty confident that's a bird you just pointed out there. This is a plane, though. It wasn't actually shaped. The object isn't shaped like that. Its heat signature is shaped like this. I had Paul Kamish, who is a pilot, so has experience with seeing things on radar like this and through FLIR, through FLIR filters, that this is an aircraft with the heat detection or heat sensor turned all the way up, so that anything warmer than the surrounding air looks like a black box around it. So that's why it looks like that.
Countered by Navy pilots.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. What's that? What is it on us, dude? Well, if there's look at that thing. It's rotating.
According to the data, NASA
and I'm pretty sure that that was a bird too. And from my understanding of that report is that the pilots were super excited about being able to pick up the birds on their radar. There's a whole flock of birds, and they were able to pick up and pin one down, even at the distance and how small they were. And that was my understanding of how that is reported today. It is a UAP because they don't know what exactly it is that they're locking onto there. They don't know if it's could be a bird, could be a bat, could be a penguin. I don't know. Could be someone's frisbee. But the pilots are saying that it's a flock of birds that they're trying to zero in on. They're using their equipment. But the way so it is a UAP. It is in the files, but it's not because because the people that were citing it thought it was an extraterrestrial. Just because they couldn't say, oh, this was an Arctic tern, or this was a turkey vulture or some shit like that.
Began its work on anti-gravity technology in 1992. They believed that a device built around a superconductor and a magnet could shield an object from gravity. Declassified documents indicate that the United States started their anti-gravity research much earlier, as far back as the 1950s. Many believe that after the infamous Roswell UFO crash in 1947, the U.S. government started spending billions of dollars on reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology. Curiously, the U.S. Secretary of the Navy is listed as the administrator on several radical aviation technologies patented by aerospace engineers. For example, a mysterious man by the name of Salvatore Pais is named as the inventor of 4 ambiguous patents for which the United States Navy is...
There are so many crazy patents. Your invention doesn't even have to work to get a patent on it. It doesn't even have to do what you say it does in the patent. But if somebody else creates but once you patent it, even if it doesn't work, if somebody else creates it and tries to sell it, then you have rights to say, hey, that's my patent. A patent does not guarantee a function. Claiming a patent means that something is functional and works the way it's described in the patent. Is the same thing. Is the same as saying for instance, a notary public is verifying the validity of something that someone signed off on. They're just saying that the person, the person came in here and wants to sign off and say that they want to make this legally their statement, regardless of whether it's true or not. So yeah, whether your patent works or not. See how I tie things into topical subjects, but so the same situation with like a government patent. You can go in there and you give them the paperwork. Say this is the thing. These are the dimensions. These are the materials. This is how it works. This is how you use it. Blah blah blah. If anybody, you give the criteria of your invention. It doesn't say that it works. Yeah.
Is the assignee a bizarrely shaped high-frequency gravitational wave generator, a piezoelectricity-induced high-temperature superconductor, an electromagnetic field generator, and method.
There's a lot of buzzwords here, but they're like high-frequency gravitational wave generator. Okay, but But then you get to something like this: a piezoelectricity-induced high-temperature superconductor is not like a piezoelectric. I have piezoelectric pickups in my acoustic guitar. What's this one right here? This has piezoelectrics in it. So is this alien technology, anti-gravity technology? Oh, ouch! Sorry, baby. I didn't mean for that to happen. Don't want to hurt you like that. Can that fix me? Maybe. Do I look rough enough like I had a whole night of fucking a bender on coke? Let's see. Let me see if I can fix this because I'm all blurry. There we go. There we go. Much better. I'm back to my old bony self again. So this is like a nothing burger here. Piezoelectricity induced high temperature superconductor. I mean, what does it say? The present invention is a high temperature superconductor comprising of a wire which comprises of an insulator core and a metal coating. The metal coating is disposed around the insulator core, and the metal is coating deposited on the core when a pulse current is passed through the wire. While the wire is vibrating, high temperature superconductivity is induced. Yeah, okay. What does it have to do with anti-gravity?
Electricity-induced high-temperature superconductor, an electromagnetic field generator, and method to generate an electromagnetic.
The same, babe. Electromagnetic field generator. That's not like, this isn't like super technology. Electromagnetic field is everything that, like, this right here. My cell phone has a little bit of an electromagnetic field. This ring light has an electromagnetic field. Anything that's running off electricity has an electromagnetic field. Anything that runs off electricity is generating an electromagnetic field. Right? We live in an electric world now. I think it kind of messes with the animals a bit, like especially the birds and their navigation stuff and all that. But I don't have anything to prove that. I just, think that organisms that navigate from using the electromagnetic field might be disturbed by electromagnetic fields generated by electrical devices.
Magnetic field that could deflect asteroids. And, perhaps strangest of all, a craft using an inertial mass reduction device, described in the patent as hybrid aerospace undersea craft, which, due to the physical mechanisms enabled with the inertial mass reduction device, can function as a submersible craft capable of extreme underwater speeds. There is a lack of water skin friction and enhanced stealth capabilities. This hybrid craft would move with great ease through the air, space, and water mediums by being enclosed in a vacuum plasma bubble or sheath due to the coupled effects of EM field-induced air and water particles repulsion and vacuum energy polarization.
Now, it sounds really cool, and you can patent an idea that you have for this and how it's going to work. It does not mean that that the patent does not prove the success of the invention, the success of the design. It just doesn't. There's all kinds of crazy patents. Someday we just need to do a show where we go in here and look at crazy patents that are claimed to do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like there's patents for like supernatural stuff. I'll just say that. We can go into it, but this does not, having a patent does not in any way indicate that the proposed engineering is actually functional in real life.
While all are relatively outlandish sounding, the latter was personally vouched for by the Chief Technical Officer of the Naval Aviation Enterprise, who claimed the Chinese were already developing similar technologies. Although the U.S. had not admitted to possessing such a craft, countless people have witnessed a strange triangular UFO in the sky, which looks exactly like the mysterious craft from the patent. But
and again, I like how this one has the blinking FFC compliant light. They got this in black and white, so you can't see the color. There's a red light that's blinking right there, which we can see.
There is still doubt. Mysterious craft from the patent.
Blink.
But if there is still doubt,
Blink.
take a look at this Google Earth image, spotted a few years.
And that's not a craft. That's on the ground, and that's actually absolutely enormous too. This is like, you could fit like 15 football fields inside this. It's huge. Yes, I'm American, so I'm using American units, which are football fields, bananas, refrigerators, Dana DeVito, Sabrina Carpenter, those kind of things. Those are our units and measurements in the U.S. Don't post a thumbnail for the wrong time. Like and share the stream instead. Oh no, what happened? Oh, but regardless, good morning.
Back in Australia. Of course, follow the coordinates now, and you'll find that the mysterious object has been hidden from Google Maps, which makes it even more suspicious. No doubt, the world of anti-gravity is one of cloak and dagger, of extraterrestrial implications and dark money funding.
And like in the age of drones too, like seeing something like this in the air is not an indication of anything supernatural or anti-gravity. Drones do not fly with anti-gravity. They don't. They fly with electricity and physics.
However, the man that we've dedicated this video to,
almost 5 minutes in, we're finally getting to our guy,
was not a backroom power player
Victor.
Or governmental elite, but an ordinary man in an extraordinary position at the forefront of anti-gravity discovery. He did not accomplish this with billions of dollars or secret government facilities.
But my favorite thing about Victor is he's an entomologist. An entomologist discovered anti-gravity. Here's to that. I'll drink coffee to that, I guess.
But simply by observing nature and all its wonderful creations. Before we continue, we'd like to thank our friends from Skillshare for sponsoring this video.
5 minutes and 49
with
seconds
Skillshare.
Into a 19-minute video. We've had a 4.5 minute preamble, a 30-second introduction, not even 30 seconds, 20-second introduction, and then jumps right into a full minute-long commercial. Gracious me.
Viktor Stepanovich Grevvikinov was born in 1920.
You got to say Victor. Stomp, stomp, stomp. All male entomologists have testicles on their chins. It helps to it's their secondary sexual characteristics. It's a display structure.
In Simferopol, a populous city in the Crimean Peninsula region of what was then the Soviet Union. Only a few years before he was born,
let's see, Soviet Opal. We gotta back all the way out because we're in Kentucky still. Oh, turn the U.S. on its side. Wow. Not that there's any actual right side up. So that's here. And I guess we better mark it for our exploration. Failed to save. Okay, I've got to refresh. Womp, womp, womp. There we go. Now we can save it. So weird that it does that. Alright, back to the video. Not that. We'll get to that in a little bit.
The city had been an important theater in the Russian Civil War. Grevvikinov's mother was a noblewoman, and his father a simple mechanic, two classes which previously would not have intermingled. For his part, Grevvikinov was an intelligent, curious young man, and he became among the first of a new educated generation. It was this education that led him, as an adult, to Novosibirsk, on the southern tip of the western Siberian plain. There,
Novosibirsk. Okay. Following this across Russia. And am I just trying to fill in my map over here more? What was the place called? Keep going back to that one. Novosibirsk. Novosib. Alright, there we go. We're gonna tag that one too. Now we've traced him all the way up here. Let's continue.
To Novosibirsk, on the southern tip of the western Siberian plain. There, Grevvikinov took to a wide range of interests, becoming a scientist, specifically an entomologist, which is the study of insects, but also a naturalist, painter, and rugged outdoorsman.
A naturalist just means a evolutionary biologist. That's what we call an evolutionary biologist now. The study of animals and how they reproduce and their anatomy and all that, yeah, their development, everything. That's a naturalist.
He may also have been a poet, judging by how he described the natural beauty of the Siberian steppe, as he wrote, "A quiet evening in the steppe. The sun's red disk has already touched the
Guard. Your mom's just east of the Urals. The Urals. New Siberia.
the faraway misty horizon. Pods of ducks gleam over the evening lake. Sandpipers
Thank you for, honestly though, thank you for the help, there, Guard.
are also heard in the distance. The high, pearl-colored sky stretches over the calming world of the steppe. How good it is to be out here in the open country. It was this love affair with nature, far from the stuffy offices and thick books usually associated with scientists, which sent Grevvikinov down the path of discovery that would define his life. It happened almost entirely by chance one evening in the early 1980s. Grevvikinov was engaged.
Now, this isn't like long ago or far away. This is at the end of the Cold War era, or towards the end of the Cold War era. And the oversight was kind of crazy here. But let's.
In his favorite pastime, roaming the vast steppe, along with his intent to camp under the stars. As he laid his head
My face is both east and west of the Urals.
on a makeshift pillow, Grevvikinov was overcome with an unpleasant feeling, a headache, ringing ears, and a metallic taste in his mouth. He realized that he had set up camp on top of an underground bee city, that, in fact, in his own words, the entire steppe is dappled with their holes like Swiss cheese, and in places almost like a sponge. What could this mean? Grevvikinov wondered. He returned to the spot 4 more times, through varying weather and times of day, and each time found the results the same.
I wonder if there's anything, if there's anybody like that's actually taking this serious enough to follow up on it, and like, if you set up your camp on top of an underground beehive, does it actually make these symptoms occur?
He noted that 5 meters away from the boundary of the bee city, he felt no effects. But as soon as he entered the area, he felt similarly unpleasant. This weighed on Grevenikov's mind for some time, until years later, he happened to be in an area where another bee city had recently died, that is, collapsed as a result of erosion and the passage of time. While investigating the site, Grevbenikov collected parts of the nest, the familiar honeycomb, and returned to his office. There he noticed the most unusual...
If honeycombs had mystical anti-gravity power, I think beekeepers would have discovered that a long time ago, right?
phenomenon. When he put his hand over the honeycomb, he could feel a heat emanating from it, a thermal sensation, which made him lightheaded. He got others to try, and they reported similarly feeling heat or cold wind, having numbness in their fingers, or feeling as though their hand was being pushed around. Most peculiar, the cause of this could not be measured by any traditional scientific device. Grevbenikov noted that thermometers or ultrasound detectors, magnetometers, and electrometers
I did something similar with a yellow jacket nest at one point.
not respond to them in the slightest. Further, the effect could not be blocked by covering, even with a thick piece of metal. Strangely, clocks, both mechanical and electronic, started running inaccurately when placed near the zone. By chance, Grevbenikov had discovered the cavity structural effect, CSE, which is what he called this type of force field which
And that's like the thing, the CSE. That's what this is all built on.
surrounded cavernous honeycomb-like objects. Believing this to be an important and potentially groundbreaking discovery, Grevbenikov published an article on his findings. Surprisingly, the article went unnoticed or ignored in the mainstream scientific community. Thus, Grevbenikov was left to continue the work.
Well, that's because you didn't present it right. You gotta say, this is anti-gravity technology that can be used for war. You're not gonna get any money unless the technology that you're inventing can be used for a war. So, you might as well, if you want the funding and you want the research to be done, you're gonna have to find how this is applicable to killing the most amount of people with the least amount of resistance. You could pull it off with this technology for sure. That's the way you're gonna have to present it if you want to get recognition and funding.
Himself. While his status as an entomologist was probably at least partially responsible for the indifference of the scientific community, it was this vocation that allowed Grevbenikov his next major breakthrough, a discovery that would change everything. In 1988, Grevbenikov was examining the chitin shells of insects under a microscope when he noticed what he called an unusually rhythmic, extremely ordered, incomparable honeycomb, solid multidimensional composition, which looked as if it was pressed by some complicated automatic machine. As he moved deeper into study, something extraordinary happened. As Grevbenikov described,
they have honeycombs hidden in their chitin too.
I was about to place a second identical plate with the same unusual cell structure on its underside, almost purposely on top of the first one. But then, the little plate came loose from my tweezers, hung suspended above the other plate on the microscope stage for a few seconds, then turned a few degrees clockwise and swung. And only then it abruptly fell on...
Baby, if you're we're gonna get to more of these videos like this, but if you're gonna try to sell this as real, you need to not have open space you need to make sure that there's nothing that can obscuring what's going on off screen, right? So you need to be in like a container or something, or you need to be at least zoomed out enough where we can see that there's no strings attached or anything like that. Just saying.
The desk. When I came to my senses, I tied a few panels together with a wire, and it wasn't an easy thing to do. I succeeded only when I positioned them vertically. What I got was a multi-layered chitin block, and I placed it on the desk. Even a relatively large object, such as a thumbtack, would not fall on it. Something pushed it up and aside. When I attached the tack on top of the block, I witnessed incredible, impossible things. The tack would disappear from sight for a few moments. That was when I realized that this was no beacon, but
this is not, as far as I know, this is not Victor's videos. These are videos of people doing the thing. So we'll get to those in a minute.
Something entirely different.
Let's speed this up too.
This incredible discovery got Grevvikinov thinking. Science suggested that some bugs should be too big to fly, based on the size of their wings and the speed of their wings beat. Was the cavity structural effect?
That's the same misinformation that, like, from the Bee movie, all laws of aerodynamics say that a bee should not be able to fly, or whatever. That's not, like, a real thing. Like, they everything about a bee says it should be able to fly, right? Everything about all the flying insects says they should be able to fly. We, we have to take these little anecdotes from pop culture with a grain of salt. It's like that, oh, you only use 10% of your brain. Like, oh, if you cut a worm in half, both sides will regrow into a brand new worm clone. Most of those things, yeah, no.
Caused by this incomparable honeycomb, creating some sort of anti-gravity field, allowing the bugs to defy physics and fly? Were the bugs, in fact, not flying at all, but levitating? Following this line of thought, and the works of past scientists like Nikola Tesla, Grevvikinov set about trying to create some sort of anti-gravitational vehicle. For years he toiled, pouring heart and soul into the project, until finally he came up with something possessing apparently amazing characteristics.
Now, this is what I want. You were talking about hoverboards earlier, Aunt Jer. This is the technology that's going to take us there. So pay attention. You got your notepad out? I need you to start working on these in your free time. I need you to start hammering out some hoverboards for us. I prefer not to have a handle on mine. I think that's like Marty McFly. I'm going to come up and rip the handle off of it and use it like a skateboard. So you might as well just make it that way. No, I will not. I will not. Definitely need a handle. And a seat, preferably. I don't want to have to stand the whole time.
Attaching hundreds, if not thousands of chitin shells to the bottom of a simple wooden platform, Grevvikinov had invented an anti-gravity vehicle, which he claimed could travel at up to 1,500 kilometers per hour, as many as 300 meters off the ground. He operated the device by stepping on the platform and using two handles attached to the base by a single pole.
This is a good start. I can add my own seat to it if you just want to make me one of these. It looks like, I'm sure the patents are still available to review, and you can definitely make me one. This is, not trying to put any pressure on you, but my birthday is like a month away. And for my birthday, I need a Grevvikinov hover scooter.
Despite the incredible speeds, the rider did not experience any effects, no inertia properties or dynamic pressure, almost as if they were ensconced in a bubble or force field. Further, when in flight, the device was invisible from below, appearing as only a light sphere or cloud in the sky. Observers noticed that even his shadow was
fucking cloaking technology too. Sign me up. I need one of these today. I need one of these yesterday.
Missing when in flight, and his watch was constantly shifting forward or backward. We know from Einstein that time, space, and gravity are intertwined. Humble in the face of such a potentially world-changing invention.
Well, a pogo stick in a cigar box. And thousands of beetles.
Grevvikinov believed that so-called real science should investigate his discovery. Thus, he filed for a patent. Shockingly, his patent application was resoundingly denied, while Grevvikinov was rejected and called out by skeptics and other scientists. It certainly didn't help that he lacked photographic proof, as his camera would malfunction during flights as a result of the cavernous structure's effect. But the reception he received for such an apparently groundbreaking invention represented the antagonistic.
That's why there's no pictures of it, because he couldn't take pictures. Every time he tried to take the cameras would malfunction. Every time they tried to record a video of it, the cameras would malfunction. And when he's far enough away, he's invisible, because it turns you invisible. See how that works?
Relationship Grevvikinov had with the establishment throughout his career. He was not shy about this, asserting, "The joy of creative work, even of work that ends in failure, is far higher and brighter than earning any diplomas, medals, or patents," and describing those he was at odds with as evil, ignorant people. But perhaps the reception to Grevvikinov's invention went beyond mere antagonism. In 1992, his patent application having been rejected, Grevvikinov sought to publish a book detailing his discovery, the principles and measurements of his invention.
It's your birthday today, and you want one now? 6663? Yeah, give Spooky his damn hoverboard. How long you been waiting for a hoverboard, sweetie? That's just, at this point, it's just cruelty to. Yeah. Happy birthday. Give him his damn hoverboard. So, like, you're 666, baby.
Backed by a litany of full-color images. It was said this would include photographs of a demonstration of the machine Grevvikinov gave at a museum. However, just before the book was released, the publishers, possibly at the behest of authorities, undertook dramatic edits of the book, removing hundreds of pictures and all schematic details. Why the book was released, backed by a litany of full-color images. It was said this would include photographs of a demonstration of the machine Grevvikinov gave at a museum. However, just before the book was released, the publishers, possibly at the behest of authorities, undertook dramatic edits of the book, removing hundreds of pictures and all.
What is the claimed reason for this?
All schematic details. Why, at the same time, Grevvikinov was being called out by skeptics, was evidence of his invention being subverted. According to a longtime colleague, Grevvikinov was part of a so-called scientific underground that was persecuted and victimized by the scientific establishment and governmental authorities. Given the money governments...
Because of the totalitarianism. And he was, this is like the Russian version of McCarthyism.
Were admittedly and allegedly spending in pursuit of the secrets Grevvikinov had apparently discovered. It is perhaps no surprise his discovery would be suppressed. Maybe Grevvikinov had inadvertently stumbled across something more powerful and thus more dangerous than he could have imagined, a deep and almost mystical power sought by humans for centuries, dreamed about with every UFO sighting or unexplained human artifact. Consider the Great Pyramid of Giza, a structure so incredible that generations of deep thinkers have speculated how an ancient society could have created such a thing. It is a mystery so inexplicable that some have suggested
they killed a bunch of bugs. And that's another big problem with the insect decline. Like I beat this drum all the time on this channel. We are at insect loss is between 60 and 85%, depending on where you're located. The closer to the equator you are, the higher that number, the lower that number gets. But the reduction in the number of insects has decreased again from 60 to 85% in the last 40 years. We're losing our bug population is the bottom line. And I want to punctuate this, and it's due to a lot of human factors that comes into it. But if we lose these creatures, we are never going to be able to get hoverboards. So I think a good environmental message is going to be that save the insects, save the hoverboards. I think that's a good tagline.
Ancients must have had access to some sort of alien technology. This might not be as far-fetched as it sounds. Recent research shows that the pyramid centralizes and conveys electromagnetic energy into the inner chambers and towards the top, as in Grevvikinov's honeycomb. Further, where chitin shells from bugs powered Grevvikinov's flying machine, the beetle was a vitally important symbol in Egyptian mythology, often depicted in art and icon. Alien or not,
yeah, I mean, it was a prominent cleanup crew in Nile Valley, right?
appears the Egyptians may have had access to a knowledge since lost to human beings, thirsted for by governments, and rediscovered by Grevvikinov centuries later. What exactly Grevvikinov discovered is unknown to this day. It may sound incredible, but the mysterious usually does until it becomes a reality. Before his death in 2001...
Why has he got to poke it with a stick? Huh?
Grevvikinov left us with these words. There is no mysticism. The thing is simply that we humans still know little of the universe which, as we see, not always accepts our all too human rules, assumptions, and orders.
All right.
Thank you for watching, and don't forget to click the link in the description below to claim your 2-month free membership at Skills.
I hate that white screen. I have a whole bunch of people claiming to be using Grevvikinov technology. This one's doing it with, this is just the beetle wing. And again, you'll note that they do it in a open space where you cannot see if there's a string attached or anything, and they do it in a low enough resolution where a string would be lost. But this effect is not impossible to create with the right magnets and materials. But this one's very much acting like it's hanging from a string. If you disagree, let me know why. That's why he's being so it literally is, looks like it's hanging from a string. Pass your hand over top of it, bro. Do the whoosh, do the magician thing. Put your hands over top and over bottom of it, or on all sides. If you want to show that this is levitating. Show me. Just wave your hand over top of it. You won't do it. You're not going to do it. David Copperfield's got better tricks than this.
It's a man named Grevvikinov from Russia. Grevvikinov was kind of a non-conventional scientist. He was an entomologist, did a lot of work with bugs, entomology. And his favorite thing was to go out into the steppes of Russia and into the various outer hinterlands and camp out in the summers and study his favorite subject. And on one of these expeditions, he started seeing some weird hexagonal pyramid structure array through it. And this was, he put this in his flying box or gravity platform. But anyhow, the AquiliNet site, if you type in Grevvikinov in his flying box or gravity platform. But anyhow, the result of this was to show that there was he found a certain bug that didn't fly, it levitated. And this was, he put this bug into a little vial or something, and he saw this vial jumping up off the lab table, jumping up and down. And of course, this is, and of course, what we have here, if you analyze, I think I found the bug. It's actually a beetle. And if you analyze this bug structure, you see a hexagonal pyramid structure array throughout the entire bottom wing of this bug.
Wait, I thought it was a honeycomb, not the hexonic. I guess honeycombs can be hexagonal. I always think of them as octagonal, but I guess they can be hexagonal.
Beetles have two wings. The top wing is called a wing cover, and what the beetle does is it lifts this wing cover up, and then it flips out its lower wings, or inner wings. Now, the bug cover protects the inner wings, but when it gets excited or something, it flips these other wings out, and it flaps these other wings, and the other wings, the inner wings flap a little, and this beetle goes gyrating around. They can't fly very good, but they sure levitate great, I guess. And anyway.
They aren't levitating, they are flying. The cover is called an elytra, and yeah, it protects the soft flight wings underneath. Vortices.
He took a whole bunch of these bug wings and he glued them to like a Venetia blind structure, and he put it into a little platform he built. So they were all, these bug wings were all covered in here. And he used I theorize he used the wing covers as well as the inner wing itself. There's also a kind of a handlebar on this thing with some controls. You can see the thing a little better here in detail. The controls, I think, had to be manipulated continuously and probably vibrated to create the same action that the bug was doing. There was also down at the base some kind of a lever, which I suspect controlled the amount of lift he was getting out of this thing. Anyway, Grevvikinov claimed that he could fly this thing, or levitate it, and it would go around at almost 1,000 miles an hour. Now you ask, how can that happen? Well, he said that there was an energy
I want one. Where's my hoverboard?
Field that built up around this thing due to this gravity field building up in the platform. And by this thing building up, it built out a force field that basically surrounded him and protected him from the local environment. So even though he was flying at 1,000 miles an hour, he could go you could be wearing your Sunday best suit and not get it flutter a bit at 1,000 miles an hour. I'm not sure I'd want to stand on something going 1,000 miles an hour that's 2 feet square. But this picture here shows him standing on the ground. And these pictures are much better if you get on the KeelyNet site. This is the platform with him on it about 3 to 6 feet above the ground, because here's the shadow here down below. Now you could say this is all faked, but if you get into the other things he did with...
I mean, the direction of the shadow here compared to the directions of the shadow here makes me feel like it's fake. That's just my opinion, the direction the light would be coming from, but then again, it could be a different time of day too. But the light's coming from like hard from I don't know, just speculate with the west or the east, but it's coming down hard from the right, and then here it's coming more almost straight down at just a slightly right angle.
Shape. They almost mirror the stuff that I discovered, and it proves, I guess, that there's either 2 crazy people in the world, or there's 2 people that have found the same discoveries. So I think that this is a valid phenomenon, and I'll show you why.
I promise there's more than 2 crazy people in the world. I've shared wards with dozens of them.
Next slide is a micrograph that I took of a beetle inner wing. This is at 100x. If you look closely at this thing, you can see rows of bumps all along the bottom of this wing. Each row this up to 430x. You can start to see some of this microstructure of the hairs, look like hairs or fibers that grow out of the center of these hexagonal cells. And of course,
warned me. Here we go. Here's some more flying. And these are super easy wings to get, these ones, because they're from basically what amounts to adult mealworms. So these are mealworm beetle wings. They're darkling beetles, a species of darkling beetles. Their wings, they don't actually, these ones don't actually, these species of beetle don't actually fly though. That's an interesting choice to use them, but they're just the most accessible and most readily available, especially commercially. But yeah, they can be just like a piece of hair, can be charged with electromagnetic charges. Like when my big tarantula died, my Nandu chromaticus, when it died, I took my big metal tweezers, and I could wave those metal tweezers over top of it, and the hairs on the tarantula's legs would swing towards them. They go back and forth. Oh, thank you, Spooky. What are you giving me money on your birthday? For the hoverboard fund. Share the wealth. Oh, thank you, Spooky. Really appreciate you. Yeah, they can be ionized. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Yeah, they can be ionized. They actually are the structure of them is specifically to be ionized, right? Same with those tarantula hairs. They're specifically trying to pick up on electromagnetic frequency. Beetles are doing that too. We do that. Our skin, you can feel electromagnetic frequency close to your skin. The hairs on your arm will sway to and fro. This is the same thing, when it's dry and staticky and you put your hand like that and your hair all stands on end. Or when you rub a balloon on your head and stick it to the wall. This is just static electricity. And by the way, I need to start doing a monthly shout out to the Buy Me Coffee people, because I know a lot of you all do support me out there. It doesn't show it on the screen, and I wish there was a way I could get it to. When you all support the channel by going out to the Ko-fi ad, or the Ko-fi link that popped up there from BugBot just a second ago, the Buy the Cryptozoologist a Coffee, I need to, at the end of the month, every month, to compile a list of everybody who's supported me out there, so I can give you all a shout out, because it doesn't give you one here. And that's the least I can do for all the support and love that you all send me. So, but I do get support from people who aren't just supporting for the channel out there too. I do get support. Sometimes I get support for my adult content on there. I do have a specific one for my adult content though. So, but sometimes people who know me from both or support me on both sides, there are a few, will send me that money there. So it's kind of like touch and go on what I want to talk about. But I'm not shy about my adult work anyway. Yeah. These people discovering static electricity and acting like they're like on to something special. All right. Here's the classic video where he's shoving stuff on there. That's the one that we just watched over and over again during the other video, so I'm going to skip this one. Oh, you making the hoverboard? How is it hovering if you got strings attached to it? Okay. Down a little bit. I don't know. That seemed like a fan or a thruster than more than a... Is this the same technology? So a few things. The first of all, it seems like a thruster that's, you know, blowing with props. And also it's not flying, it's attached to the string, so it's just... hanging and then giving less resistance when the thrusters are on. Flying would require no strings. There's a very clear design to the Grevvikinov board. I think that anybody can mimic with the proper resources available. Is that not a thing? Can we not do that? Is there not somebody out there who's bored enough to... I guess I'm bored enough to do that. I have to get a whole bunch of beetles, though. Help me fund my Grevvikinov hoverboard. Oh, yeah, I'd probably go zipping off any which way if he didn't have the strings attached to it. But the strings make it... The strings make it so I'm not convinced that it can lift its own weight. I don't know if the technology that he has underneath here is actually sufficient enough to lift its own weight, because there is a counterbalance here. So at least, like this is a, you know, we saw him messing with it earlier. There's a counterbalance here. It's a fulcrum point, and so it is making it so it's less resistant by producing the lift with whatever means. I think it looks like propellers to me, but it's not. I'm not convinced that it can lift its own weight. Not specifically because the strings, but specifically, well, the strings don't help, but specifically because it needs a counterweight in order to lift its weight. I guess is the point I'm trying to make. Next.
Welcome back, guys,
Right.
for the video explanation. Let's take a look at the original one last time.
Oh.
So there's not a lot going on here. He's got the elytron suspended by a thin thread, and he's getting in close with his finger. While that by itself would work, I enhanced the effect for visualization on the replication video. So what I did was take some acrylic, give it a good buff with a dry rag, and get the acrylic real close to I touched it to the elytron, and that gives the elytron some extra electrons. Took off my shoe, grounded myself on the tile floor, and then you get in here close, and those free electrons want to flow through you and go to ground. So that's how I did it. For those who guessed it, congratulations. And once again, I want to say thanks to the guy that made this video, the original video. Even though it was a fake, I appreciate the effect. You got a lot of people
Yeah.
interested.
I'm glad that
occult
someone's
research,
debunking this stuff
and
besides me.
that's all anybody can ask for. So that's my thoughts. Tell me what you think in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.
Some more old blurry footage in a laboratory, making things jump. Magical. This can all be done with magnetism too, with the right setup. Like, there's a big magnet in there, and this stuff is, is reverse polarized to it. It'll kick it off like that. I guess he's gonna give us a look at his device here. Yeah. He filmed this with a potato. Is this the same video? Just 1 second longer? I don't know, it's just him pushing more stuff on there. Is it going to levitate above that triangle thing? Oh, it's making the beetle wing fly. Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back. This will be the explanation for the hovering elytra. Let's take a look at the original one last time. I'll blow this up for you. Okay, what I want you to do is keep your eye on this one. Okay? And what I saw is this elytra gets dropped on top of this one. This one pushes that one out of the way and then hovers over.
And we
top.
just watched
Okay,
that, so we don't need to rewatch it. Let's do
and
this.
stick a little bit of wax on whatever you want to hover, and then stick the string to the wax, and there you go. Let's see if we can get that switch.
I imagine that Dr. Tapioca Weasel would probably prefer the, what was it, CSE structure, the to the over magnetism. I really think he would.
Look familiar? Okay. There we go. Well, that's how I did it. And at this point in time, only one person got it. That is... Hey YouTubers. This will be the third video in the Grevvikinov video replication series. Today we're going to try to get one of these shells to hover over the other one. The original of this video is what inspired me to do this series. So I hope you like it. Let's get started.
Упала. Начинается опять. Выше не поднимается. Странно. Нижняя клавиатура начинает ездить.
Much clearer. This is anti-gravity technology. It's a little bit it might be a little bit above your education level, Cap. Since yeah, Kip Davis has written no books. Anti-gravity technology using beetle wings.
Alright guys, that's my replication video. What do you think? Pretty convincing? How did I do it? Tell me what you think in the comments below, and 1 week from today, I'll post the explanation. Thanks for watching.
And we get the explanation. There you go. What is just showing different beetles, which is cool. I like beetles and all, but I'm like a freaking copyright strike for this song, whatever it is. So moving on. Let's hoverboard.
Grevvikinov from Russia. Grevvikinov was kind of a non-conventional scientist. He was an entomologist. Did a lot of work
Better show me
with,
some
bugs,
hoverboards.
entomology. And his
There's a
favorite thing was to
video
go out
somewhere of
into
him
the
on his
steppes of
hoverboard.
Russia and,
I thought it was on this list.
All right. So I've been looking into Viktor Grevvikinov lately, and I had some June bugs laying around, and I thought I'd try to see what happens. There's a lot of interesting videos out there on YouTube right now about beetle.
Yeah. Doing the static electricity thing. I got it. I want to see the flying hoverboard. Here we go. Before the show's up, we got 5 minutes left. I want to see the hoverboard. Yeah. We know. Do you have the video or not? Stop wasting my time. I see it here. Oh no, it's not even really. There is a video.
It means this Viktor Grevvikinov, my world. Okay. I'm not showing off, I just know what it means. Okay. I have a contact in Russia named Elaine, and in roughly 1999, he sent me a URL about this Russian scientist and a flying platform. And I went and looked at it. This is the cover off the book, which I managed to get from Russia, so all in Russian.
Let me see if I can.
Grevvikinov discovered something called a cavity structural effect, and it's basically what we're talking about with tubes and frequencies that cancel themselves, and also they interact with biological and also physical material. Oh, by the way, Grevvikinov says there are the two most common materials in this world are cellulose, because it doesn't decay, and chitin. Chitin is spelled C-H-I-T-I-N. That's what all insects are made out of. Chitin. It's the shells, the body, beetles, roaches, butterflies, everything's made out of chitin. And it doesn't dissolve and it doesn't die. So all the dust in your house, that's billion-year-old bugs that are still grumbled and falling. But what's interesting about chitin is dielectric. The Casimir plates are dielectric. They repel electricity. These nanostructural arrays, when you look at them under a microscope, this is what they look like. This is excreted by the bug in growing its tissues, the chitin. That's what it looks like as you go significantly greater magnification.
Here we go.
That's what you see.
Good grief. Here we go. Now we're cooking. I had the wrong playlist. There we go. There's our hover machine. Don't you just love June bugs laying around? Yeah, Cap. Anytime you have any kind of question, I'm just going to insist that it's outside of your realm of expertise and that you couldn't possibly understand it. That seems to be the standard way to approach scholars. So, like, the only thing that you can know anything about at all has to be Dead Sea. You cannot know anything at all about any other fields. You're just not allowed to.
And the Air Force
See, I want one like that. Honestly, I prefer mine with a seat, just a chair. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. A chair, a little bench maybe. I didn't care if it was like hanging. Like if you wanted to suspend like a swing thing from either side of the platform walls, that's fine too. I don't want an open air hoverboard, is what I'm saying. Even though that you can't feel the wind or anything like that around you, I just would prefer to just be seated comfortably and be at least mostly surrounded. I want a back to mine too. I'd like it to be built more like a little vehicle. It can be open at the top though. Since there's no air, it doesn't need to be. You can no dome or anything. Yeah, this is definitely from a convention, Aunt Jur. That's absolutely impossible. There's no way that you have the ability to understand how to do more than one field of anything. You can't be a mechanic and a Dead Sea scholar. It's impossible. You can't. You can't know anything about psychology or anything either. It's just not within your wheelhouse. Look at, wouldn't that be awesome if this was real? I'd assume this is taken from a helicopter, but I don't know. It could be on a track too. But the way it turns like that. It's got the handles that look like the testers that they use for Scientology. Feet meters. You fly your Grevvikinov anti-gravity machine with feet meters. But this is what I was talking about. This is the footage.
It's a man named Grevvikinov from Russia.
Okay, we already watched that.
That means
Vortex
The
technology.
model is actually in the window now.
They are living sculptures. There's some of the elements needed. North spiral formation in the middle, which picks the water up.
Yep.
It comes down here. Variation. And it's a matter of
Are you going to show any of this stuff working, or?
the directions that we're going is to build and develop turbines. As you do with the patterns and the designs of these things.
Okay.
Side. In the 30s or even later, if people had listened to Victor Schauberger, we would have been spared all the disasters we have today, and which were...
Alright, I think that's about it on the anti-gravity stuff. So what do you guys think? What do we think, Hive, about anti-gravity technology? Do you think Grevvikinov actually did discover something that was unknown to science before, and it was swept away and hidden in the fall of the Soviet Union? What do you guys think? Is that technology being used today by secret military operations around the world? Let me know. Let me know in the comments down below. If you disagree with my assessment on this stuff, that I think it's all a bunch of subterfuge. Then yeah, you can. That's my opinion. The subterfuge, a lot of sleight of hands, like magician tricks, basically, that they're using to say that this is the technology. But if you disagree with me, let me know below. Tell me. Show me your experiments. Show me your Grevvikinov inventions. But yeah, hit the subscribe, hit the like, ring the bell. I'll be back here every Saturday morning. You want to come either learn more about this wild stuff? You want to give me suggestions? Just tell me down below. But yeah, remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time.